Hello, my fellow Americans. 'Tis I, the Rumpled One. It's funny, you make these videos and, a lot of people like what you have to say, and then some people like to debate with you, and then every now and then you get somebody that, just wants to call you nasty names, but, you know, when you think about it, somebody who you don't know, you don't even know where they are, is calling you a nasty name. Why should you get upset about it? I mean, they're basically expressing their opinion. If they think you're a dummy, then that's what they think. Once again, I don't know these people personally. I don't know if they're 10 miles away or 1,000 miles away. Doesn't make no never mind to me. One guy said he wanted to slap the silliness right out of me. It's just like, go ahead, make my day. See, I don't think they're going to get in their car, get in an airplane and rent a car and track me down to slap me. Talk about silly. Anyway, what I want to talk about today was freedom. Because I don't think most people understand the essence of freedom and what freedom implies. Once again, Harry Brown, How I Found Freedom in an Unfree World, a handbook for personal liberty. And this is the 25th anniversary edition. See, Harry Brown defines freedom this way. Freedom is living your life as you want to live it. That's what freedom is. Think about it. You're born. You didn't really have much say-so in the matter. You wind up here on planet Earth. And depending on, where your parents live, that determines what government regime you are subject to. And in some regimes, you have a little more freedom than others. But under every regime, you're basically their subject, if not their slave. I mean, right now on Facebook, there's a few of those posters, with the little kid or teenager angry saying, Congress, you're stealing my future. I owe you $50,000 just because I was born. I mean, that's not right. We know that doesn't feel right. But what do you do about it? I mean, I read somewhere, if you think about it, freedom is disobedience. Because somebody else or some other organization or group of people have decided that this is the way you must live or be, or you must have this, or you must do this. And you say, no, I'm doing it my way. I'm having it my way. I'm not doing what you tell me to do. I am taking my personal freedom. I am declaring my sovereignty as an individual. I'm going to do it my way. And if you lay low and fly under radar, you can get away with it. Maybe your entire life. But if you're like a nail and you stick up, well, that nail sticking up usually gets pounded down or pulled out. And that's what happens to people every now and then. That guy in Central Oregon collecting rainwater, 30 days in jail. Now, I guess the story's a little bit bigger. Some people say it's not quite what he presents it. Just depends on who you want to believe. Having some logging done in the Logger was explaining to me, he says, you know, the forest protection might come out here and inspect, because to log, I had to get a logging permit because I want to sell the logs. See, that's not freedom. I mean, can you imagine back in the day of Washington, Jefferson, Franklin, Hamilton, and the rest of those guys? Somebody telling them they got to get a logging permit? I think they'd be getting the muskets out. And then, you know, somebody says that, you know, how I say on the one hand, you know, I am like a patriot, wearing the flag and things like that. On the other hand, I'm saying something different. Well, you see, the government, the people in the government's the problem, not the Constitution. A big difference. And of course, you know, the Constitution was signed by a bunch of slave owners, but, you know, a reality check on the slave thing. All throughout history, there have been slaves. Who do you think built the pyramids? It wasn't a government contractor. So, the fact that in America they had slaves, well, obviously, they weren't doing anything different than the rest of the world. I mean, if you look at Asia, slaves. Africa, slaves. You know, Europe, slaves. You know, Rome, Greece, slaves. So, you know, they wrote the Constitution, but they, for the most part, kept in the part about slaves. So, yeah, we all know it wasn't right. It was wrong. At least that's what we believe. But, you know, that's 200 years ago. It's like time to get over it. Move forward. Right now we're all slaves. We're slaves to the people in Washington, D.C. running the United States government. Because they're taxing us, they're regulating us, and they're basically telling us that you're not free. You're subject to our jurisdiction, our rules, our law. And if you fail to comply, we've got guns, big guns, lots of guns, and we will use them. That's what happened in Waco, Texas. That's what happened up there at Ruby Ridge. And, you know, once again, those forefathers put in the Second Amendment, right to bear arms. And they shall not be infringed. The government's infringing on it. They didn't say you could bear arms, but you couldn't have automatic weapons. Well, back then they didn't know about automatic weapons, and that's part of the argument that the gun grabbers want to use. That's how they want to take away your freedom, saying, no, no, people shouldn't have those weapons. Those weapons shouldn't even be in existence. Well, they are, and we should have those weapons. Because once again, a handgun, that's for taking care of robbers and muggers and rapists. If you're out and about. You know, a shotgun, that's for home defense. Somebody breaks in that door, they're going to get a taste of Mr. Remington. No two ways about it. And somebody was saying I should oil the hinge, but if I leave that door unlocked and I leave the other door open, if somebody were to sneak up and open that door, that squeaky hinge, that's my alert. It's my alarm. That's why it's squeaky. Bet you didn't think about that, huh? Anyway, now those assault weapons, that's for when the government has just gone too far. Could it happen? Yes, it could happen. Will it happen? I don't know. Am I prepared? Yeah, dang right. Just that simple. So, you know, the topic is freedom. What it really means. The essence. And the essence, once again, is disobedience. It's doing it not what somebody else says. You will disobey because you want to do it your way. You know, Thoreau wrote his civil disobedience. Spent some time in jail for it. Because he just decided that, you know what? I've had enough. I'm going to do it my way, and I'm going to take a stand. And if I have to go to court and wind up in jail over it, well, so be it. But that type of individualism has been bred out of us and programmed out of us. That stuff's not taught in school anymore. In fact, the opposite is. Everything gets changed and perverted. You know, for example, they say Columbus didn't discover America. He invaded it. Well, there's some truth to that. But then again, we're here, it happened, and you're going to believe what you want to believe, because that's your freedom. So if you want to say he discovered it, he discovered it. If you want to say he invaded it, he invaded it. If you want to say, well, maybe he kind of did both. So when you think about it, it's like Orwell says, he who controls the present controls the past. And he who controls the past controls the future. I think that's the correct quote. Point is the people in power today, they're the ones writing history. And Obama is rewriting history. I know I'm kind of getting off track here, but if you go out to the government websites, they'll be talking about past presidents, and then Obama's people have slipped in something about Obama. Now that's a good use of our stolen tax dollars, isn't it? Okay, back to freedom. Freedom is disobedience. Freedom, as Harry Brown states, is living your life as you want to live it. I mean, I chose to move back here to my rural location. This is the way I want to live. And, you know, I've panned around. You know what it looks like out here. Can't see anybody else. Can't see their property. It's like I own the whole world. As long as I stay up here, pretty much you'd be left alone. But, you know, somebody might want to come up here and show me their badge and want to inspect this or that, or check for this or that, or ask me a bunch of questions. And I'll basically ask them kindly to leave. Just leave and leave me alone. They'll come back. And depending on who they are and why they're here, they may leave. They might want to put up give me some argument. But sooner or later they'll realize I mean business, and then they'll go away. But they might come back with a couple of more badges and some guns. It could happen. And we'll just see where that leaves everything. But you have to wonder why somebody would want to come out here and mess with me. Why would they want to impose their will upon me? Just the nature of man, mankind. So once again, freedom. The land of the free. They want you to believe that you're free, but you're not. But then again, you can be free in your mind, which is probably the most important freedom. Be free to have your own thoughts, think what you want to think, believe what you want to believe. Because that's the real freedom. Because no matter what they do, that's one thing they can't take away from you. They can't take those thoughts away. Well, I mean, unless they put you in the chair and zap you, give you a lobotomy. But you're free to think and believe as you wish. And you get to keep it to yourself. Nobody else needs to know. That's freedom. That's the real freedom. The rest, the land of the free, in name only. You need a permit or a license to do just about everything. You need a number. Because if you don't have a number, you're in big trouble. Unless, of course, you're an illegal alien. But that's a different topic. So anyway, my fellow Americans, in this land of the free, there's only one place that's really free, and that's your mind. And with that, wake up, America. Smell the tyranny.